Hey, this is Mike Durr, the Kingwood Mortgage Guy, and I'm here with the Homebuyer Webby. This is April the 5th. It's just a little bit before 7 o'clock, so we're going to just kind of go over some fun stuff. But this particular session, I think, is one that I've had a few people ask me about, and I'm not sure that everybody pays attention to this, but it's 6 tips to help you buy a home that makes you money. And here's why I think this is important. There are a lot of people out there that are buying a home for the first time, and they clearly don't know some of the subtleties of buying a home that's going to make you money. And from an investor standpoint, this is where we're going to come from an investor standpoint, where there are opportunities out there, just like if you were going to be buying a home to flip or to buy and occupy for 2 years and sell, and that you would make money. And I can tell you there's nothing wrong with keeping the mindset of an investor when you're getting ready to buy a house. Now, there are some extremes, and you're going to see some of the slides that I have tonight that are a little over the top, but some of this comes from, well, a big portion of it comes from Dave Ramsey. And Dave Ramsey's well, I don't know, he probably is still investing in homes today. A great place to invest. Now, you invest in a lot of things, but homes is one of them. And the other thing is that there are just some common sense things that, if you think about them, make a lot of sense. And the one thing that I will tell you is that in some circumstances, you get caught up in not doing anything to a home. You want to move in a home and not have to do anything. And if that's you, well, this is probably not going to be exactly right on target. But if you are looking to get in a home and you're willing to put a little elbow grease to it, the opportunities for you are going to be pretty darn good if you pick or you take advantage of the 6 tips that we're going to give you tonight. So hopefully that kind of sets you up for what we're going to talk about today. But what I wanted to start with, and I'm going to skip over here to this slide. Let's see. And this slide, is it coming up? Is it coming up? Maybe not. Let's see. It's probably because it's not 7 o'clock and it's not quite ready to move. Let's see. Maybe if I click here. Okay, I know what I got to do from the beginning. And there we go. Okay, now you can see that. Well, I don't know if any of you guys saw the 1980s classic, The Money Pit. The Money Pit starred Tom Hanks, a young Tom Hanks, I might add, and Shelley Long. And here's kind of like the plot. Attorney Walter Fielding, so Tom Hanks was an attorney, a young attorney, and his classical musician girlfriend, Anna Crowley, who was Shelley Long, learn of Walter Sr.'s wedding to a beautiful young woman named Florinda in Rio de Janeiro. Shortly after fleeing the country for embezzling millions of dollars from their musician clients, the next morning they're told they need to vacate the apartment they are subletting from Anna's ex-husband. So in this case, Shelley's stage ex-husband. He's a self-absorbed conductor who has returned early from Europe. So hopefully I hadn't lost you there. But Tom Hanks and Shelley Long are a boyfriend and girlfriend. She has an ex-husband. They're subletting an apartment from him, and he tells them that they've got to get out. Through an unscrupulous realtor friend, Walter learns about $1 million distressed sell on a mansion that he can buy for a mere $200,000. Now he and Anna meet the owner, who claims she must sell it quickly because her husband, Carlos, has been arrested by the Israelis, having been accused of being Adolf Hitler's pool man. Her sob story and insistence at keeping the place in candlelight in order to save money from the lawyers distracts Walter and enchants Anna, who finds it romantic. They decide to buy it, but Anna insists on putting up half the money needed for the repairs. She turns to Max, her ex-husband, for her half of selling him back what she got in the divorce. And Walter gets his half from his wealthiest client. From the moment Walter and Anna take possession of the house, it quickly begins to fall apart. Amongst other problems, the entire front door frame rips out of the wall. The main staircase collapses. The plumbing is full of gunk. The electrical system catches fire. The bathtub crashes through the floor. The chimney collapses, and a raccoon is living in the dumbwaiter. They have contractors come in, and they're the only construction company in town. Only one construction company is willing to take on the work, who summarily tear the house to pieces using Walter's $5,000 down payment, leaving him and Anna embroiled in a bureaucracy to secure the necessary building permits to complete the work. His continuing frustration at the escalating cost of restoring the house leads him to brand it the money pit, while the construction guys continue to assure him that the work will take only 2 weeks. The repair work continues for a grueling 4 months, and Walter and Anna realize that they need more money to complete the renovations. So this is one of those plots that can happen, and I find a lot of times when people are looking at buying foreclosures or getting a deal on houses. Well, let me tell you, there are situations like that I love the part where it says that, let's see, here it is, Anna, who finds it romantic, and Walter's distracted with the story. And you know, it's not to say that there aren't stories about houses, and there are good deals out there, but you got to be careful, because what a con guy will try to do is will try to distract you with something that really doesn't matter, and he's trying to get in your pocket. So anyway, this is just one of those things which you want to keep in mind. I think that's a good story. Okay, it is 7 o'clock, so we're going to get started. I am Mike Durr, the Kingwood Mortgage Guy, and we're going to get started right now. Let me just go on this next slide. Let's see if how did I do that last time? We're going to go, and here, what? Oh, here it goes. There we go. If you needed to reach me, my number is 281-348-9899. I'd love to talk to you. And how to buy a home that makes you money. And I just talked about the money pit. There's a couple good pictures. Shelley Long, if you didn't know who that was, that is her right there. And Tom Pitts. For those foreclosure seekers, this is a must-see. Now, the only reason I say that is because it seems like such a wonderful idea to go look for foreclosures. But I got to tell you, unless you're seasoned at looking for houses, looking at houses, have plenty of money, cash to buy a foreclosure, it's going to be hard. I mean, I can tell you that a lot of times it's more trouble than it's worth. And I can tell you that from both ends. I'm trying to finance some and also trying to buy some. All right, so the number one tip, and you've heard this before, it's a classic: location, location, location. And when you're looking at buying a house that's going to make you money, particularly if you look back over the last couple of years, when we say location, we're talking about the neighborhood, we're talking about the school district, we're talking about close to shopping, close to your work, close to freeways. Those are all things people like. And when I want to point out the close to work things. Now, in the jobs that I've had in Houston, it seemed like the first 15 years that I lived here, I had to drive over an hour to get to my place of employment. And just the cost of the gasoline and the wear and tear on the car and the extra hour each way that I spent, you know, I was willing to do what it took, but it wore me down. And I can just tell you that I'm living a little bit of nirvana right now when my house and my office are no more than 5 minutes away. It's a very positive thing. It would be very difficult to get me to go do anything else. So that is one of those things that's really important. Why are school districts important? Well, school districts are important because people want to bring their kids up and have them go to good schools. They want to be safe schools. They want to be well educated in the the public school districts, and there are some public school districts that are superior to others. So if you buy in that area, then you have a better chance of that property that's in that area appreciate. And are the school taxes a little bit higher? Yes, they are. But guess what? That is not a big deal to somebody that's looking to bring up their children. It's a small additional cost when you compare that to being in an area where the school districts aren't so good. Okay, neighborhoods are different, and in Kingwood alone, and in Humble and Atascocita, each little subdivision has its own characteristic. It's really important that you're aware of the characteristic of each one of those little subdivisions, because it makes a difference in how they're going to appreciate. And then finally, close to freeways, an example that I can tell you that's in Kingwood is that if you live in the back of Kingwood, that used to be a matter of prestige. But what I hear more today than I hear about the prestige is how long it takes to get from the back of Kingwood to Highway 59. And for the people that live closer to the front, it all of a sudden that it's become more, the property values have become more valuable because you're closer to the highway. It's easier to get out. You can go faster. And in our day and time, that's an important thing. So that is number one. Location, location, location is an absolute critical factor. Number two, beware of too many homes for sale in the same neighborhood. No, this is not number two. This is the same one. You can go into a neighborhood, and if you're looking at this picture that we've got right here, where all these homes are for sale. I was trying to figure out what this guy looked like. He's got his, yeah, he's doing the lawn. Anyway, this is not a good sign. Too many homes for sale. What could be wrong? What could be wrong here that everybody wants to sell pretty much all at the same time? Well, it could be crime. It could be there's a toxic waste dump somewhere. Maybe some news came out that something was going to happen to this neighborhood. There could have been a government rule change, and who knows what that could have been. Whatever, you can tell that if this many people are looking to sell all at the same time, there's some bad news going on there. And so this is probably not a great place to move into if you're thinking about selling and trying to make some money on this particular property. That's pretty self-evident. So let's move on to number two. Number two, home size. Is bigger better? Is bigger better? Well, just a little bit of a stat. 1950, the average home size of most homes, average size, was 1,000 square feet. Today, or not too long ago, last year, the average home size is actually 2,700 square feet. But here's the catch. Don't be afraid to go against the norm. And it's for investment purposes, it's always better to be the smallest home on the block. Now, this is a pretty dramatic, this picture is pretty dramatic example of that. But here's what the real deal is. If you live in a neighborhood and the homes are 3,000 square feet and yours is 2,500 square feet, and the value of those homes is moving up, they will tend to carry your home along with it. Now, the opposite is true, is if your home is the 3,000 square foot home, but the community, the home, most of the homes in the marketplace are in the 2,500 square foot range. If the majority of the homes in the neighborhood are smaller than yours, they will tend to bring your home down, as opposed to the opposite, which is where most of the homes are the bigger, they will bring yours up. So it's a subtlety, and it's something that not a lot of people talk about, but it's very important for you to look at to see what's going on in the neighborhood. Are you buying one of the smaller homes, or are you buying one of the bigger homes? Very important point, and it's one that can end up making you money when you choose to sell your property. Okay, exterior. Now this is where I get into the investment stuff, and I had some fun with this, but everybody knows, well, I say this, the exterior, when I'm talking about the exterior, I'm talking about the elevation. Some people call that the elevation. Builders will call it the elevation. What does it look like from the outside? Curb appeal sells homes. if you go buy a home and you see flowers in the garden, you see a very well manicured lawn, you see trees that provide shade, and you just look at it and you go, man, it's got a porch on it with a little place to sit out there. You go, man, I can so see myself living in that house. And that's a good thing. You know, I mean, obviously the people that are selling that house did a good job kind of dressing it up so that it looked good to potential buyers. Here's the catch though: overgrown hedges, trees, etc. This can all be dealt with. And I want to give you a quick example. My brother-in-law, who lives in the Tyler area, bought a lake house, and I helped him finance it. When he bought that lake house, the beautiful lot, but it was a mess. I mean, there were trees that were overgrown. The lawn was up past our knees. I mean, it was scary looking, but he got a good price on it. And it turns out that that property is a showcase property now because it took very little, well, it took a little TLC, and he's made a lot of improvements to it, but it turned out to be one of the best investments that he made, and I can tell you that there are opportunities like that. Now, with this old tractor in here, who knows, this tractor may be quite a good tractor. And behind all this, I don't know if this house is in good shape, but you don't know until you get in there and look at it. And what I'm telling you is do not turn away just because the thing is overgrown. And you know, what you don't want to do is you want to make sure that the neglect, because obviously this yard has been neglected a little bit, hasn't crept inward. Now, on my next couple slides, I just wanted to go through these fast because you talk about there is a house behind all this, so that may be a little bit extreme example, as is this one and this one. Even though this is kind of pretty, but you can tell the house is a little bit rough here. They may have let that go a little bit out of the way. Okay, so we'll skip to number 4. Interior. It's kind of the same thing as the outside. You see a house, you walk into a room like this, and I think this is pretty hilarious, but it's only one of few that I'm going to show you. Don't jump too fast at saying, oh my gosh, this place is horrible. Positive things can be done with this. So it may be that weird paint or pet stained carpets, there's no upgrade to the kitchen or the bathroom, might not be a bad thing, because you can fix gaudy interior or decor. You can take this carpet up. You can take all these recliners and fluffed up couches and take them out of there and just make this room whatever you want to. Now, what you can't do is you can't fix how the home functions, and that's something you have to pay attention to. But I'm going to encourage you to, sometimes you have to look past the initial impression. And of course, if you're going to sell the house, you never want to have a home that has this kind of impression. But if you're buying a home, sometimes you might just get a bargain because you saw past some of the problems. And what I want to do now is I want to show you some. I didn't spend a lot of time looking at these pictures, but I think you'll find them funny. So how about that as an office? I mean, is that something else? Now, if you stepped into this room and were considering buying this house, what would you think? Maybe the guy is going on safari, or maybe he went and he brought back all this cool stuff. I don't know, but that would give me a little, well, there's a dramatic event when you see that property. How about this one? Is this guy in the circus or what? Yeah, it could be. I love the luxurious chairs there. How about this one? It's like, I think there was a movie that had a home that had this thing. I mean, you could almost stand in there in a plaid suit and nobody'd ever be able to find you. Here's one. This one's, I'm not sure what the guy was trying to do here, but it looks a little bit African, Egyptian, or something. But again, if you walked in a room like that, would you want to buy that house? It might put you off. Okay, so let's get down and talk serious now. Condition of the home. This is a big one because this is stuff that you have to maybe let somebody else that's an expert do for you. And what I put here is the best Murphy detector is a home inspection. And it's a great way to avoid making a mess out of buying a home. And let me tell you, when you make a mess on buying a home, it ends up costing thousands of dollars. So the home inspector, and most everybody does this, but this is just an encouragement to do it again. He's going to check the foundation. He's going to check the plumbing. He's going to check the electrical stuff. He's going to look at the heating and the air conditioning. He's going to check the roof. He's going to look for water damage. And if you're smart, you'll get somebody to go out there and do a pest or a termite control too, or a termite inspection. So you don't want to make those early mistakes. And this is, you know, it's anywhere from $300 to $500 to get an inspection these days, but it's good money. It's money well spent. It's a good investment. All right, so let's see what number 6 is. Number 6 is the price. Now, this last 2 years, the market has been kind of interesting. It's in the 250 and lower range. The homes are going really fast. If it's 125 to 200, I mean, you're likely to have multiple offers on that, and there's not a lot that you can do in regards to making an aggressive offer when you're kind of in bidding line. But the key thing that Dave Ramsey says is you don't want to stretch. You want to put down as much as you possibly can, as much as you're comfortable putting down. You always want to get an experienced realtor who knows how to do the comps in the area. And you always want to look for an expert negotiator. Keep in mind the realtor doesn't cost you money. They're paid for by the seller. But if you get somebody that knows how to negotiate, and they can save you money and they don't cost you a dime. It's a very positive thing. And the big thing that you don't want to do is you don't want to overpay, even if it's in a competitive bidding situation. And a lot of people fall in love with houses. Well, let me tell you, if you fall in love with houses, it's going to be harder to make money because you're going to pay more and you're going to lose some of that equity that you possibly could have had. So that's what I had for you tonight. Let me see if I've got anything else back here. Yeah, those are the old ones. So anyway, I thought that this was really good information so that you could take a look at these houses with a whole different eye. Let me tell you, I'm here. I'm going to go back to this one. Kingwood Mortgage Guy. I want to make sure that if you have any questions, I'd love for you to call me at 281-348-9899. What I didn't mention is most of the people that I asked for people to rate me and tell me how I did. I've been getting a lot of good reviews, and it's because I've got a good team and we really care. So this is Mike Durr, the Kingwood Mortgage Guy. I hope you enjoyed the Homebuyer Webby. I think you can use this information to help you make money when you buy the next house. That's it.